Colin, let me ask you about the active start age, right? So that's pre-sport, but yet it's been shown to be critical in what are the key policies in place that determine whether kids are going to have an active start or not? Is it access to playgrounds? Is it child care centers building in movement? What are the key policies and practices in place there?
If I had a perfect answer for that, I'd be a very rich person. But I think there are a number of areas where we have to look. One of them is the training of preschool educators. I think we need to encourage them to make the kids under their care more active. We're fabulous at teaching kids to sit still, and to not make a mess and not do things. And I think we've got to encourage them to get out there and be active. We have to engage parents. I mean, kids spend a lot of time with parents at this age, and we've got to give them tools. And there are some really good tools around the world. I'm a great fan of some of the Kiwi Kids materials out of New Zealand. Great activities for parents to do with kids 18 months old, 2 years old. Simple, cheap, things that parents won't get concerned about doing. Unstructured play. Send them out to play. The key element in the first 6 years is giving kids opportunities for physical activities in a wide range of environments. If we can just do that, and by the way, throw out the Nintendo, turn off the television, and make people actively engage in activity rather than be passive recipients.
Right, gotcha.
Okay, I do have something about adding on to Colin's creating safety outdoors for kids simply to go out. And I don't know, I know there's a wide range of ages in here, but if we mention about how we used to play quite freely in every single month of the year, even if it was minus 40, going outside, and when were we told to come home? Yeah, well, like when the street lights come on, right? And that, we have lost so much of that. So, how do we pull that back?
Well, we can't. We have to get to hockey practice.
I know. Too much structure, and we are terrified to let go of that. We have really, really lost our way on that. That again is a multi-pronged attack. We have unfriendly built environments where it is safer to drive than it is to walk and be outside. So we do have some legitimate issues with safety. And again, coming back to support the very busy parent, sometimes the single parent, both parents that are working. What can we do when we think about where the child's feet walk on a given day? It is those places that we need to give support to enable children to be free to move. A lovely expression I learned a long time ago is that movement is a child's first language, and we have robbed that from them in a catastrophic way.
So here's my question. How do we bring back free play, right? And then how do we build it into an LTAD model, which is a structured model? It's LTAD is saying, okay, here's the framework, but how do you also say, okay, now let's make sure that kids, because kids get much more exercise picking up a ball for 6 hours on a Saturday afternoon with their friends than they're going to get in an hour and a half practice with their coaches, right?
Well, I could answer that question in one way, and it would sound great, and it'd be totally unrealistic. Because I think the dreams of yesteryear that Vicky's just talked about are yesteryear. I don't think we're going back there. I don't think that as a society we're gonna be able to kick the kids out onto the street to play street hockey. It's really sad, but it's not happening. And right now we are losing the battle against technology. And that's why it's so important of the collaboration of the sectors, the collaboration of everyone in this room. We have to band together to take on a multi-billion-dollar industry that's trying to, is successfully having our kids become sedentary. That's why we have to work together. Forget basketball versus volleyball. We're way past that. We've got to work together. And then, so how do we bring back play? We have to restructure our organized sport to allow play to happen within an organized setting. And so that's the way that will happen.
Yeah, like U.S. Soccer with their best practices document, basically is telling coaches now, all right, give kids a couple simple ideas and then kind of turn over the play to them, and you're more of a supervisor than you are a micromanaging coach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is that the message you're sending to coaches here in Canada as well?
That's a message within LTAD. I mean, the fundamental stage, fun is capitalized. So, is running drills for 8-year-olds really fun for them? Wow, they've got to be super fun drills to be fun. Rather, play is much more fun. So we do see the Canadian Soccer Association, as an example, in their first 3 stages have now moved to game, activity, game, rather than single person drill, double person drill, and then have a group drill and then a game, so that to incorporate more game activities in their organized setting.
I have a slightly different view. I absolutely agree with Richard that I think in the structured setting, to try to create those opportunities is absolutely crucial. I think one of the current major phrases from participation, bring back play, is an extremely important one and needs to resonate probably much deeper within the entire system than it probably has at the moment, and they need to have the resources to help the entire system push to the extent that we really have a double-pronged approach of both the unstructured play as well as the structured components. And I use the analogy of Lego, where we've seen gradually Lego morph with technology into where much of the Lego now is you build something that's actually being predetermined for you. So you buy a Lego kit and you build the spacecraft or the house or whatever. And the real creativity of Lego has dissipated, and we need to be able to do both, capture the imagination of the kid who buys the Harry Potter castle in Lego and make that, but never lose sight of the fact that you need to buy just a box of Lego bricks and allow the kid to construct a castle out of their own mind or whatever. And we have to be able to do the same when it comes to movement and movement creativity, where we have both structured, contrived situations where perhaps we have an end result in mind in a curriculum base and within sport or just within community programs, but at the same time we have to give parents in particular and other caregivers and even sport people the ability to be, or allow youngsters to be even more creative, which comes back to even policy around the environment that kids get to play in, and what does the parks of the future, what do playgrounds of the future look like, what do schools of the future look like, what does the home look like, what can you do cheaply? So it's a multi-pronged approach.
My last question here is, we have
Tom, just before, sorry, you mentioned that LTAD was a structured program. It is true, it is structured. However, the first 2 stages, active start and fundamentals, very loosely structured. Deliberate play plays a much more important role than deliberate practice. For the learn to train stage, it's equal deliberate play and deliberate practice. And train to train, train to compete, train to win stage, obviously deliberate practice take over and deliberate play will disappear. So we have a structure, but it's very loosely structured, the first 3 stages of LTAD.
got it.